The Department of Public Health and Human Services is pleased to bring you Aging Horizons. Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, fraud, legal issues, veterans benefits, and caregiving. Aging Horizons is a program dedicated to inform and prepare Montanans on these timely issues, making a difference to you and your loved ones. Here now is today's program host.
Hello and welcome again to another edition of Aging Horizons. We have a very special guest with us today. He's going to be talking about VSO, what VSO is, how to help veterans, and what to expect when you have a disability from them. So please stay tuned and we will be right back.
If you knew your next-door neighbors couldn't afford to stay warm this winter, you'd want to help, right? Thousands of our fellow Montanans and Montana businesses are stepping up with a tax-deductible donation to Energy Share Montana, a nonprofit that helps more than 3,000 of your Montana neighbors stay warm this winter. Find out how you can help. Call 888-779-7589 or go to EnergyShareMT.com. Thanks, Montana.
It's been 27 years. I never thought I'd still be smoking, but here I am, COPD and all. I'm about to have a granddaughter. There's so much to show her, but I'm scared I won't be able to keep up like I used to. I kind of gave up on myself on quitting. But it's different now. I want to be here for her and for my daughter.
Hey, caregivers, did you know that respite time is your time? How will you spend it?
How about some good old-fashioned me time for starters?
Michelle Smith, Helena.
Or maybe play a high-stakes game of volleyball with my other kiddo. Gotta teach him who's boss, you know? I could even make my famous spinach lasagna. Never hear any complaints about that.
Montana Lifespan Respite. Respite for caregivers. It's okay to need it. It's okay to want it. It's okay to get it.
Hey, Mom. More lasagna, please?
Sometimes the difference between having the life-saving medications you need and going without is the premium on your Medicare drug insurance. If you're a Montana resident enrolled in the Medicare prescription drug program, you may be eligible to receive help with your premiums, even if you own your home or other assets or think you may have too much income. Call or visit the Big Sky RX website today to find out if you qualify.
There you go, ma'am. See you next month.
Thank you.
We're back, and this program is brought to you by the Montana Department of Public Health and Human Services. I'm your host, Wilmot Collins. Today our guest is Matt Young. He is the administrator for Montana Veterans Affairs Division, and he's going to be discussing with us about Montana's veterans. Matt, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
So Matt, what, we hear different organizations are here to help us. What is VS? What is MVAD?
MVAD is the Montana Veterans Affairs Division, and we were created by legislation back in 1919. We were known as the Montana Welfare Commission back then, and we were started to help support the veterans coming back from World War I.
Okay, good. So what else? I see that you also deal with cemeteries?
We do deal with cemeteries. Our entire mission and goal is really twofold. We care for veterans and their families across the state. Our mission applies not only to assisting veterans and their family members with state and federal claims applications, but to also serve them in death through a dignified burial at one of our state cemeteries. Yeah.
Great. So what is a VSO and how can they help you as a veteran?
Well, a VSO is a Veteran Service Officer. And a Veteran Service Officer is a trained and accredited individual who serves as a VSO with MVAD, the Montana Veterans Affairs Division. And we provide free assistance to all the veterans and their families And we also help them navigate the complex VA system.
Right.
You know, it can be complex, and so that's what a VSO does. They help with that. They also help with the evidence gathering and the appeals, should they be necessary in your gathering of your evidence, moving forward to claim your benefits.
Who are some of those VSO organizations? What are some of those VA organizations? I know, but
sure,
you know, American Legion.
Right.
What
So there is various VSO organizations like the American Legion, Veterans of Foreign Wars, the Disabled American Veterans, and of course in some of our counties and throughout the state, we have our VSO officers. And we have 9 locations around the state with staffed VSOs.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are some of the main services you provide to veterans and their families? Well, in plain language, don't make it difficult. Don't use all the jargons.
Well, okay, so MVAD, the Montana Veterans Affairs Division, we are administratively attached to the Department of Military Affairs.
Okay.
And our whole mission is to, like I said, serve veterans. And some of the key roles that we play in coordination with the VA include the claims and benefits assistance, which our service officers assist with, like I stated, you know, out of our 9 offices across the state. We have offices in Miles City, Billings, Belgrade, Butte, Missoula, Helena, Kalispell, and Havre, 9 locations. Also, you know, there's a financial impact to this as well. The VSOs directly boost federal funding into Montana, with reports indicating as much as over $500 million by the end of this June we'll be bringing into the state. That goes directly into our veterans' pockets, which then filters down into the local economies.
That is awesome. And so your state veterans cemetery program, what is that? How does that work?
So MVAD operates and maintains 3 state cemeteries. We have one in Miles City, one at Fort Harrison here in Helena, and one in Missoula. Okay. And those are open for veterans to come by and pre-register and view the cemetery grounds, and you know, of course, we maintain that, and we provide a very low cost to no cost internment for our state veterans.
Wow, this is good. I see here that say for every $1 of state funding invested in Montana Service Program, MVAD have historically generated $100.
That's correct.
Wow.
That's correct. So we have 18 full-time VSOs.
Okay.
We have a total of 22 VSOs, starting with our leadership, but we have 18 full-time VSOs that manage these claimed benefits. And the money, like I said, that's brought into the state is significant. And based on our cost as a division, we're able to turn around and generate this additional revenue for the state. So it is a big deal.
Wow. I mean, you know, we should be singing this and blowing your trumpet, because I hear Montana has quite a few veterans here in this state, because I think about 1/10 of our population is veterans.
Yes, very close to that.
This information is very critical and crucial.
Right.
So how many veterans about, do you think?
Well, so currently we have about 88,500 veterans in the state of Montana. And in Montana, we rank 3rd among all the other states with the amount of veterans per capita in the state.
Good.
And so we rank very high. And, you know, Montana is one of those states that attracts veterans. You know, like the outdoors will attract them. You know, the low cost, the strong tax benefits that we have here for our Montana veterans. For example,
before we go on that, we need to take a break. And so let's take a break, and we'll be right back to continue this all-important discussion. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
With as many as 1 in 10 Americans at risk for Alzheimer's or some other form of dementia, chances are someone you know and love will receive that diagnosis. When that happens, you may well feel devastated, but know that you are not alone. Help is available. You don't have to face dementia by yourself. Call the free 24/7 Alzheimer's Association helpline, 800-272-3900, for guidance and support.
Medicare loses $60 million in Montana each year, $70 billion nationally. Medicare processes 4.5 million claims a day. They don't know who your doctor is, but you do. Mistakes can happen.
Read your Medicare statements and call Montana Senior Medicare Patrol if you see anything unexpected.
1-800-551-3191. This project is supported by a grant by the Administration for Community Living.
You've probably seen some big-name celebrities on your TV lately talking about all the Medicare benefits you're missing out on. But the insurance companies who are paying for these ads may be pushing benefits not available in Montana. Fortunately, help is available from a friendly state health insurance assistance program counselor who can help you sort it all out. It's free, and we screen everyone for eligibility regardless of your zip code. It's Montanans helping Montanans. Call today.
I was angry and upset when the doctor told me I have diabetes. I just didn't want to deal with it, the needles and the diet restrictions. But after I started to learn about it, those feelings changed. I was at risk for a heart attack caused by high blood sugar. That got my attention. I started watching my diet and making sure I got enough exercise every day. I want to be around for my grandkids, and now that I know what to do, it seems like a small price to pay.
Ask your doctor about diabetes education or visit montana211.org.
Hello, and we're back. Welcome to Aging Horizons. I'm your host, Wilmot Collins. We've been talking to the administrator for Montana Veterans Affairs Division, Mr. Matt Young. Matt, let's get right down to it.
Absolutely.
How many veterans live and work in Montana?
Currently, we have 88,500 veterans that live and work in Montana.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
And I see that's the third largest veterans population in terms of per capita.
It is. It's the third largest. We are the third largest state with the population of veterans per capita in the country. We fall just under Alaska and Virginia. Okay. So we have a very heavy population of veterans.
The main reasons veterans choose to live in Montana, what are some of those reasons?
Well, there's several reasons. First is the outdoor culture. And lifestyle, right? Most veterans like that adrenaline-filled outdoor lifestyle, and the low cost, living out in a low infrastructure environment. Right. Post service,
hiking.
Exactly.
Fishing.
Yes, hunting. Everything. Everything that goes with it. Sure.
Continue.
Well, also there's the strong tax and financial benefits for veterans living here, including exempting up to 50% of your military retirement pay from the state income tax. That's a benefit as well that the state offers. Okay. Supportive environmental and services here in the state. We have a strong VA infrastructure,
yes.
Here at Fort Harrison and all through the state. We have new clinics that have popped up. The most recent one last week was in Kalispell.
Oh, wow.
Brand new VA clinic up there to serve our veterans up there. And of course the various employment opportunities. Montana boasts a low unemployment rate, and so this makes it a little easier for veterans to find work. But we also here in the state give the veterans preference when it comes to jobs as well. Right. So that's an important thing to note.
Okay, and you talk about education, veterans-friendly education. What's that?
Well, the benefits that include tuition. And for wartime veterans, can be cut down or even eliminated at state-sponsored schools, various schools. That's something to check into if you're just getting into your education, for a bachelor's degree and a master's degree. Something to look at.
That's awesome.
Yes,
That's
sir.
awesome. What are the main benefits for veterans that our VSO help with? You know, I know we talk about the different 9 VSOs, but there are some benefits that they help our veterans with. What are those benefits?
Right. So we actually have 9 offices across the state, and we have 22 VSOs, 18 full-time VSOs. But you know, these VSOs, they help us and the veterans navigate the complexity of the VA system for the veteran. For example, you know, your disability compensation, your pensions, your health care enrollment, educational benefits, vocational benefits, home loans, burial benefits. You know, all of these things your local VSO in one of our offices can help you with.
I see survivor benefit. Whoa. Can you elaborate a little on survivor benefits?
Right. So the VSOs assist families with dependency and indemnity compensation and burial benefits as well. Absolutely.
If a veteran is watching right now and has never reached out to you, what is the very first step they should take to connect with you?
Well, these veterans can begin the process by contacting us at one of our local offices to schedule an appointment. All of our offices that you'll contact, the information is found within our website, which is currently under construction. It'll be done next month. I'm going to go ahead and give you that website, hopefully on the screen, but also the phone number you'll see run across the bottom of your screen. Just call that number and we'll take it.
And what is that number?
That number is 406-324-3472.
Correct. Thank you. Key steps to start the claim process. What is it we need? If a veteran says, I got some disability, what do I need to bring to you to start that process?
Well, the first thing you would need to bring is your DD-214 or any discharge papers that you may have, any medical records that you may have to help support your claims.
You bet.
Would certainly be appreciated and would go a long way in us helping you.
Good. So key requirements. You have to have requirements in order to apply for your disability. What are some of those key requirements you need?
Well, again, you know, some of those key requirements are the documentation, like the DD-214, your military discharge papers, relevant medical records are necessary, you know, to provide service and eligibility. You know, and we would file an intent to file, what's called an intent to file on your behalf with, you know, in one of our local offices. One of our VSOs would do that on your behalf. This action establishes a date for potential retroactive pay should you need it, and it gives veterans 1 year to gather the necessary documentation. So that's pretty important too. So I would definitely go in. If you're prior military and you're watching this and you're a veteran, definitely give us a call at Montana Veterans Affairs Division and speak with one of our VSOs so they can help you.
Matt, I don't know what to say. That is some good information there for our veterans, because we see a lot of veterans around not knowing how to take the first step.
Exactly.
Because if you can take that first step, you can finish the process. So stay tuned. We will be right back with more information from Matt Young, Administrator of Montana Veteran Affairs Division.
Sergeant Jones. Please respond. I was separated from my squad. Requesting backup. Anyone? Please respond. I'm all alone here.
The human heart. Even at its strongest, it's a fragile muscle. Chest and arm pain, shortness of breath, are signs of a heart under attack. But 3 numbers can save a life. Dial 911 at the first sign of a heart attack. Quick response from medical experts can save your life.
I was 45 and it happened to me, a heart attack.
Dialing 911 saved Ryan's life. Now he's here And he's healthy.
This message sponsored by Mission Lifeline Montana.
I think the most pleasant surprise when we turned 65 and signed up for Medicare Part B was finding out about our Welcome to Medicare preventive visit.
It was free, and it gave us the opportunity to visit with our doctors and establish a plan for our health going forward.
They reviewed our medical history, measured our height, weight, blood pressure, and counseled us on other risk factors.
To learn more about Medicare's free or low-cost preventive and wellness benefits, call your local SHIP counselor at 800-551-3191. I mentioned it's free, right?
Twice.
Can you say ombudsman?
Ombudsman. Ombudsman?
Uma Doodlesman? Fortunately, you don't have to say it right to get the help of a long-term care ombudsman. If you or a loved one reside in assisted living or long-term care, an ombudsman can help resolve any issue. And these services are completely free and confidential. Now, why don't you try that again?
Ombudsman.
We're back, and we will continue our discussion with Matt Young, Administrator for Montana Veterans Affairs Division. Matt, let's get straight into it. Do veterans have to pay for VSO services to assist them with the claim process?
No, absolutely not. All of our services are free to the veteran, no charge to the veteran. So when you come in and see us, we're going to take care of you. We literally are Montana serving veterans, okay? So there is no cost for any of those services.
And most times it's veterans serving veterans.
It is. We have quite a few veterans that are VSOs, so the chances of you sitting down with another veteran are very good. The VSOs that are not veterans have veterans in their families.
Oh yeah,
and are closely tied. So we are a veteran-centric organization right off the bat, and we are here to serve you.
Do we need to be a member?
No, you do not need to be a member. You just need to be a veteran. And so come and see us. There's no membership required.
And accreditation matters. You have to be an accredited association.
Right. So accreditation does matter, okay? And it matters for a lot of reasons. All of our VSOs are accredited by the VA. And this accreditation basically lets the veteran know that we know what we're doing.
What you're talking about.
What we're talking about, what we're presenting, at various levels. And not only that, we will go as far as if your benefit gets denied, we'll go with you to appeal and sit in front of a judge and present our case with you. So,
wow.
Yeah, accreditation does matter.
That's awesome. Are there other organizations that provide the same service as MVAD, VSO?
There are some nonprofit organizations out there and some for-profit organizations out there that will attempt to do the same thing as us, but they will charge you.
Wow.
So they will charge you a flat fee or a percentage of your benefits. And I would say this, if anybody comes along and wants to charge you for helping with your benefits, run. Go the other direction, because there's no sense or point in you paying for your benefits that you've already earned for.
You bet. All right, let's move on to now. What are the state veterans cemeteries, their eligibility, and the process? What is it? Because I remember hearing you say you have to apply and all of that. So tell us about it, Matt.
So the Montana Veterans Affairs Division, MVAD, we assist with cemetery services by managing and operating and maintaining the Montana State Veterans Cemetery Program. And this program provides dignified burial options at 3 of our locations, which I'll touch on them in a minute, for our veterans and their families, at little to no cost to the veteran.
Okay. MVAD helps with cemetery-related needs, such as?
Well, such as the operation of the state cemeteries themselves. Like I said, we manage the 3 state cemeteries. At Fort Harrison here in Helena is where we're headquartered. We have another one in Missoula and one out in Miles City that services the eastern half of Montana.
Yes. And so what are the different, I see here, MVAD help with that, and you have operation of state cemeteries, you have interment services, all these different services.
Sure.
You want to touch on them a little bit?
Absolutely do. So the interment services, for example, we coordinate the burials, which includes in-ground caskets, the columbarium niches if you're cremated, and also in-ground interments, at all 3 cemeteries. Also, we coordinate with funeral homes, which is very important. Now, we have nothing to do with what happens at a funeral home or their expenses or their costs, but we certainly coordinate with them. And when you come to lay your veteran to rest, we will ensure everything is in its proper place.
That's the administrative side of
that
it.
That is the administrative support that MVAD does handle for the families. And we also ensure that there's a certain compliance for these cemeteries through the National Cemetery Association. These cemeteries need to look good. They need to be, the grounds need to be kept up, and we do all of that.
All the headstone
in a row. Everything looks good. Grass is mowed. Everything, is nice and tidy. So,
another one here, cost assistance. Can you just briefly touch on that?
So for eligible veterans, the VA pays for your burial plots and internments. And along with the MVAD, with us handling the logistics and perpetual care of the grounds. So like I said, there's little to no cost by being interned in one of our cemeteries if you're a veteran. So I would invite all veterans to come out to one of our cemeteries, take a tour, meet with our cemetery managers, maybe a bureau chief, and tour the cemeteries and just see for yourself, pre-register, and go ahead and bring out your DD 214 and pertinent documentation.
And most times when our loved one passes, we're distressed. We need help because we can't do it alone. I see you have support for families. Quickly, tell us what's that.
So the support for families is huge. We provide assistance with burial permits, and we coordinate, like I said, with the funeral homes, which is really, a lot of families don't understand the process.
Right.
They're thrust into it, quickly in a lot of instances. And so the assistance that we give the family is really important when it comes to that.
Well, Matt, I don't know how to thank you. I know Montana's veterans thank you a lot for this valuable information you've provided today. I want to talk to my audience. Hey, this has been a program brought to you by the Montana Department of Public Health and Human Services, and I've been your host, Wilma Collins. See you next time.
Special thanks to the Department of Public Health and Human Services for their continued support. Hosts on Aging Horizons are program specialists at the Montana Office on Aging. Production facilities provided by Video Express Productions. For more information about Aging Horizons, call the Department of Public Health and Human Services toll-free at 800-332-2272.